Yo guys, what is good? It is your boy. He is back. He is alive. I know, guys. I know I've been a bit mad recently, guys. I know I was meant to upload a video. Was it yesterday? I said or the weekend. Either one. I'm sorry. I've been a bit moist. Been a bit of a twat, really. I've had a lot of family stuff going on recently, and just a shit ton of stuff to do. So sorry about that late upload, but this is basically the technical video that I was promising you guys last week and on the weekend. And yeah, man, I mean, what we're going to really be talking about today is just mainly fractal patterns, right? So I think I banged up my story. So fractal patterns, right? So, what the fuck is that, right? Fractal patterns are basically what they are is just look at it as a picture of price, or look at it as an area of price, right? So let's highlight this area. A fractal pattern is a pattern that price forms again and again. All right, so it might be an expansion up, a consolidation expansion, or it could be, for example, price might give an OTE setup. All right, so an OTE setup is basically when price comes back into the optimal trade entry, right? So price will, make a swing high, make a swing low. If price is bearish, it will rally back, retrace back into the OTE area, and then that would be sell signal, right? So that is basically what a fractal pattern is. It's basically just a pattern in price that repeats itself again and again, right? And it's fractal because it can occur on way more than one different time frame. It can occur on a weekly, on a daily, on a 4 hour, hourly, 50 minute, 5 minute, 1 minute, right? It can literally happen on any time frame. And that's why when people say price is fractal, what they mean is that, it occurs again and again. It repeats itself again and again and again. That's more or less what they're talking about. So, you know, these are very, very important, guys, because I think when you first do start trading and you first start, whipping out your charts and, what you're really trying to do is you're trying to understand price. You're trying to predict it. And to predict it, you've got to understand what happens, why it happens, so you can then predict future price action, right? And, everything we do as traders, every time we look at a chart, we are looking for fractal patterns. We are looking for, patterns in price that repeat themselves. That's more or less all we're doing. It's nothing special, guys. We're literally just looking for the same conditions again and again and again, right? The same patterns again and again and again. And that does not make a difference whether it's a daily chart, a weekly chart, a monthly chart. It's all the same. It's all the same thing. So I want to take a look at cable, right? So this is my cable chart. It's a fresh chart. I've got a fresh one for you guys, just to make it a bit easier. And yeah, I did change the background. It is now white. It's not that horrible yellow color that everyone keeps getting at me. I know the colors clap, guys, but you know what? It is me. Like, it's my charts when I show it. So that's the reason why I really keep it. But anyway, it doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. So I want you just to take a look at this chart, right? So as you can see, this is cable. And I'm just going to put on the period separators for the month, right? So this separates, if you don't know what these are, this is basically a period separator. So it separates periods of price, right? It can be, a day, it can be a week, it can be a month, it can be a year. But in this case, because it's a daily chart, it's separating every single month, right? So what we're going to look at is, I want to just show you guys the first few days or the first week, right? The first week of price. And I just want to show you guys something. And I am showing you something from a friend of mine. I think he did post this chart, but I'm just going to use it here because it holds quite a lot of significance, right? So I'm going to just say why I highlighted these boxes in a sec. All right, so we've got two grey boxes and we've got one green one, right? So what I'm looking at here is that I'm looking at the first week or the first few days of the month, right? And the reason why I've highlighted this is because, as you can see, we get a fractal pattern here. Price consolidates, right? It's contracted, so it's in a contractionary state, right? And basically what this means is that when price contracts, the smaller the ranges, the bigger the ranges that follow will be or should be, right? And that's just because when the market contracts, what it's doing is that it's accumulating orders. So it's accumulating positions, or the institutions are accumulating positions. And this is what price will look like when they are doing that. All right, so it's a consolidation, more or less. That's what it really is. And obviously in this case, what follows that is an expansion to the upside in this case, right? So the reason why I'm highlighting this is because I want you guys to see that these two areas are similar. All right, we get a small contraction in price. You know, this was followed by a down move, most likely into a lower time frame block, right? And we've got an expansion upwards. So the beauty about this pattern, guys, and the beauty about all fractal patterns is that they are very repetitive in nature. So as you can see here, you see contraction in price, boom, big expansion, right? So if we were to use it's the same idea when we come to the next month, right? We get a small contraction in price, right? It's a very small contraction. This allows us to then be able to have an idea of what is coming next, right? So this is why I was bullish on cable. I mean, among other things, because of the dollars also retracing, this is the reason why I was bullish on cable. Why? Because we got a contraction like we did the previous month at the start of the month, which then indicates that there should be bigger ranges following it. So it's the same thing here, guys, right? And the joke is, as you can see, right here, we get a very, very small contraction in price, followed by the same downward candle, right? The same traction you down to take stops up below this level. So price is repeating the same fractal pattern, all right? It's contracting. So what we could then expect is an expansion, right? So what we're really doing, we're just mapping out the market. We're mapping and trying to understand what phase of the market is in, all right? And usually I say there's about 4 phases the market should or could be in, which is a contraction, an expansion, a retracement or reversal, right? Those are more or less the 4 ways the market will move. So you'll get a consolidation in area where price is accumulating orders, and then you'll get an expansion. And after the expansion, price will usually, retrace or reverse. And as you can see, this is what's happened here. So we had a very small contraction in price. Price dropped down probably into a lower time frame block, expanded to the upside, right? Big expansion. Then also what it did is that it came into a higher time frame area, right? So it came into an area of resistance. And as you can see, once it did do that, it retraced. It had a reversal and a retracement. So this is what price will tend to do, right? It will just keep repeating the same phenomenon again and again. And the good thing about this is that you can use this as a viable, way to predict where price is going to go next, right? Whether it's up, down, left, right, as long as you understand the position that the market is actually in at the moment, using fractal patterns, using your understanding of what price likes to do, then it gives you a much, much higher probability for your trades and for your trading decisions as well. So this is why I have targets on cable to target these highs, right? First these daily highs and these weekly highs, right? For the same reason, because all I'm doing is just expecting an expansion to the upside, right? All I'm doing, guys, is nothing special. I'm just literally looking at what price is doing, studying it, and then I'm just waiting and trying to be anticipatory in what I'm doing. And, don't think this is just going to happen on the daily chart. This happens on the weekly, this happens on a 50-minute and a 5-minute. It's, it happens on every single time frame, and that's something you got to realize. And it's good in a way because, as you progress and as you develop as a trader, what you want to do is almost memorize some of these fractal patterns. So when they, when they free themselves up to demand them, and they show you, then it gives you quite a good opportunity to actually predict where price is going to go next, and then set yourself up for the preceding move, right? So let me just show you guys on a 15-minute what I was looking at this week, if this chart wants to be nice to me. Let's just expand it out for you. So on a 50-minute chart, right, if we're looking at this week's price action, so, listen, I got left with this position. I knew that, cable was going to be bullish, but because I didn't get an entry on this, it just screwed me, man. I tried to get an entry around here. I had an hourly block marked out today, and price just swerved it like a bitch. I think it was about 8 pips it didn't come into it, right? So that's it. That is the level that I had marked out today. But as you can see, price just consolidated and then just expanded to the upside, and did not respect this area whatsoever. I was expecting a drop in London, but I just didn't get that. But game is a game, guys, man. Game is a game. So what I want you to really understand, and what I want you to pay attention to, is this area price here, right? Or several areas. I'll show you. So we've got consolidation here, right? So this is showing that the market makers, the institutions, what they're doing is accumulating price there. All right, they're accumulating the orders. Why? Because they are bullish on this pair, which means that they want to push prices higher, right? So they want to make higher highs, push price higher, take liquidity out above the market. So, once I saw this fractal pattern, because I tried to get an entry yesterday, price swerved me. Tried to get an entry today, price swerved me. And then I literally just looked at what was going on, and I thought, okay, I've seen this fractal before, right? So what price will do is consolidate, have a decent day, and expand to the upside. And what it won't do is retrace back into the range, right? So because I'd seen this fractal pattern quite a few times, I knew that it was very unlikely that today I was going to get an entry. Why? Because price, usually what it will do is at least have a retracement into the 50% or equilibrium of the last price leg. And the reason why it does this is because, as you know, these voids have residing orders, right? They have, dormant liquidity waiting to be taken by, the market makers, by whoever else, right? So what the market usually like to do is push price or pull price back down within these areas, or at least to the fair value price, right? So if EQ 50% is always fair value. So what I would expect, or what I was expecting, was for them to pull price, around the 50% mark, at least into this breaker here, which is why I had this marked out for Monday. But as you can see, price just completely, disregarded the area. So usually we want to get a price to retrace back within the 50% area, usually, right? But as you can see, it just bolted off. And I went back in my charts to see if I could find, because I knew I'd seen this pattern before. I've seen it several times. I went back, I think it was to the 14th of February, right? So let's just go back so you guys can understand what I'm looking at. So I think this was a very bullish week for cable, well, obviously, but we didn't get a retracement at all. And as you can see, a similar pattern is formed here, right? So we had a consolidation period, right? And this is basically repeating the same phenomenon again. So what we got on this day, on the 14th of February, which was probably, I think this is the Wednesday, right? We got a drop down and then a massive rally up. However, the preceding day, right, we did not get a pullback back into this area. So we usually expect a pullback back into this area. So we'd expect a pullback around the 50% mark, right? So we're going to mark out, that day's high or Wednesday's high to Wednesday's low. I would expect price to pull back within this area. And as you can see, its previous resistance also lines up with a block here, and also lines up with a breaker over here, right? So this would have been a decent area for price to pull back into. Why? Because you have old highs there which could be used as support, and you also have an institutional level here alongside a previous institutional level there. So this would have been a good area for price to pull back into, right? But we did not get a slight retrace back into the area. Prices continued up. So this is why, guys, I would always say go back and study your charts properly, because understanding price means understanding market cycles. It means understanding patterns that repeat themselves again and again and again. And this is something that, as a trader, you generally pick up on. When you get better and when you're looking at the market and when you've actually spent hours, you would generally pick up on little nuances like this. But, understanding this allows you to then go and predict what happens next, because I knew what was going to go on, because I'd seen this pattern before where price just rallies up and there is no retracement the following day, right, for another buy. Then when it came to this week's price action, I knew there was a very, very high chance that we would literally not see this range get filled in until price either took liquidity, probably on the daily, right? Either that daily high or that weekly high, or till it hit a higher time frame resistance level, right? As it probably has done now. So price has come to a 4-hour block. And, for me, I still think this is going to be bullish. I think we'll probably get a drop back around into 4160 area, because there is a 4-hour block there. And, I wouldn't be bearish on this pair until that low was taken out and I'll get a retest on that. But the point is, guys, is that usually you won't get a retracement with this kind of pattern till price has met its objective or its higher time frame objective. Because, when you see price action doing this, that means, the market is heavily, heavily biased towards that side or towards the expansionary side. And when it's in an expansion, guys, it's very, very rarely you'll get a retracement back. Price is more or less just trying to expand to its target, and then what you would then do is wait for the retracement or the reversal. So, these are the kind of main points, guys. Let me just write them out for you, right? Contraction or consolidation. Let's just call it consolidation, right? First, you probably get a consolidation, as we did here, right? Consolidation. Next, you should expect an expansion, right? And this can be to the upside, to the downside. It depends, if it depends what order flow is saying, it depends what the trend is saying, but you'll get an expansion usually after consolidation. Why? Because price is, expanding into an area, either searching for liquidity or it's searching for a high time frame level to reverse off. And then what you should expect then is a retracement, right? A small retracement, which sometimes can give you an OTE setup, not always. And then you want to see a reversal, right? So these are the 4 market cycles that you really want to be focused on. And this fractal pattern happens again and again and again. Like, you've all seen consolidations, right? You've all seen expansions in areas of price like this, right? And you've also seen retracements and reversals once price is coming to a level. So this is how you more or less predict what is going to happen next. And it's also how you understand what's going to happen before it happens. And that's very, very important if you want to be anticipatory in what you are doing. If you want to be able to put on a trade or put on a trading decision and feel comfortable in what you're doing, because this gives you a certain level of confidence. As much as I didn't get in this week, I already knew that what phase the market was in. So now I can expect the next phase, which should be a retracement or reversal, right? And this just helps me map out what I'm doing a lot better, and it gives me a lot more confidence, guys. So, at least take away, if you take away nothing else, at least take away these 4 market phases, right? Because this is what is going to dominate your trading a lot of the time. And I think once you grasp these, then it's very easy to predict when the next expansion will be after a consolidation, or if price has expanded, then you should expect price to come into a support level or a resistance level, and then find, then reverse or retrace, right? So this is extremely important, guys, and study this, sit down your charts, analyze, go over, see what price is doing again and again. Like, does it repeat the same things again? You know what I mean? Or does it do something different? Or have you noticed the same fractal pattern happen again? If so, mark it out. How would I get an entry in this? Or, what comes after this? What follows this? Asking these kind of questions, guys, is what's going to make you a better trader. It's what's going to give you that edge. It's what's going to sharpen your edge as well, because you should have an edge already. I mean, anyone that goes into the market that doesn't have an edge, you're not doing yourself a service whatsoever. This should be used to sharpen your edge, sharpen your understanding of what you're doing, which obviously then will take you to the next level, guys. So, definitely focus on this stuff. Definitely focus on understanding price, and then take your game to the next level, man. Definitely, all right? So these is what I wanted to show you guys, all right? Go through your charts, man. Literally go through your charts after you watch this video. Look to see where price is consolidated, and then just, do it if what situation. If price is now in a consolidation, where would it go next? Expansion. If price has expanded, what happens? So doing this, guys, I think you will definitely see a big difference in your trading once you actually grasp this, once you can see it on the charts, once you visualize it. And it should really help you understand what you should expect from the market next. All right? So I hope you got something from this video, guys. Like, subscribe, do all that madness. If you want to see me talk about something else in another video, or you have another topic you want me to talk about, guys, literally just hit me up in the DMs or hit me up on this. I don't think I reply that much on this, but I'm going to try and do it a bit more often. But yeah, man. All right, so peace out. I hope you guys have a good trading week, and take care, my brothers. Take care.